In the backyard, cooking for your friends, cooking for your family, 90% of this falls away. And what you really need to rely on are buying the product correctly, knowing that you're cooking a baby back rib versus a St. Louis style rib, having a good piece of equipment to cook it on, setting it up correctly, picking a good pit temperature. When I was first cooking barbecue, true confessions here, I'm from the north. Okay. Yeah.
I got you.
We can come back.
Converted.
And I thought, low and slow is the way to go, right? So if this is low and slow, then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go lower, and I'm going to go slower, right? And I've got it. I'm going to put out some really great barbecue. So the problem is, Chris was talking about the final internal temperature of this piece of meat. 200, 205. Well, everybody else that was around me when I was first learning about barbecue was cooking at 225, 250. I was thinking, wow, these guys are mavericks. They're going fast. They're going hot. I'm going to drop it down to 190. And I'm going to cook all day. You know what happens after 24 hours of cooking at 190 degrees? You are at 190 degrees internal temperature on that piece of meat. Are you going to ever hit 200, let alone 205? No. You're just not going to get there. You can't get there. Okay, so low and slow is not the only way to go. It needs to make sense. All that to say, Chris is worrying about trimming these ribs in a particular way. I don't trim my ribs. I cook some pretty darn good ribs. As a matter of fact, I beat Chris in competition in Boston butts one time. And it's the blind hog theory, right? But you don't need to do every little song and dance. You need to focus on the things that matter. A good product, a good cooker, and most importantly, the internal temperature of the piece of meat that you're cooking. So many people come here and say, oh yeah, I cook Boston butts all the time. Everybody loves the Boston butts I cook. Oh really, how do you do them? That's great. Give me some tips. Oh, well, I cook them for about 24 hours. And after 24 hours, they're good. What's your pit temperature? It's 24 hours. That's what I say. Oh, really? What kind of seasoning do you use? Yeah, this way. That's not what matters. You need to know the internal temperature. Okay, 24 hours is not a recipe to success. Internal temperature is, and